The most dangerous season isn't a season full of failure, it's a season full of momentum. Because momentum will convince you that you're God. We were averaging $50,000 a month, had more than a few months, over $100,000 a month. My wife and I were looking at each other like, oh snap, our lives is really changing in real time. It wasn't the same, and before I knew it, it felt like everything was just closing in. It was crashing down. We tried to hold on to employees, and then we had to eventually let people start going. We had to eventually let people go, and it just felt like, what the heck is going on? I wasn't. I was praying for increase while drifting from intimacy. He said, "Listen, man, where I'm taking you is a long way to fall from. Take me with you so I can keep you there and sustain you." And so it's going to be some people this year that are going to be activated in their new life. Learn how to adjust, learn how to grow. The scariest part about that is that you actually start believing you're the source. You stop guarding the relationship that made the strength available to you in the first place. And what that reminds me of is a story about Samson and Delilah, and not Samson with Delilah, Samson without Delilah. Because the real lesson isn't about Delilah per se. And I know we make it about how she tricked him and she connived him and she did all these things to try and get him and cut his locks off and did all those things. But the truth of the matter is, the most dangerous season isn't a season full of failure. It's a season full of momentum, because momentum will convince you that you're God. I used to say things like, everything I touch turn to gold. And the truth of the matter is, it does. The things that happen for me is unbelievable. It often does when I put my mind to it. Deals happen, momentum follows, people open doors, but there's a hidden danger in that thought process, and it quietly teaches you that you're the source. And the scariest part about that is that you actually start believing you're the source. You stop guarding the relationship that made the strength available to you in the first place. And what that reminds me of is a story about Samson and Delilah, and not Samson with Delilah, Samson without Delilah. Because the real lesson isn't about Delilah per se. And I know we make it about how she tricked him and she connived him and she did all these things to try and get him and cut his locks off and did all those things. But the truth of the matter is, it's about a man who got used to winning and stopped respecting where the strength really came from. He treated his consecration like a detail, and he treated his obedience like a suggestion. His obedience was not a suggestion. His obedience was his covenant obligation. And the scariest part about that, it isn't like it fell apart all at one moment. He drifted while he was still strong. That's when his power left. His power left while he was still strong, like while he was still able, while he was still committed. It wasn't like it just eased out of him. It left while he was still strong. And I lived in seasons like that, and where my business was moving, and I started thinking I was doing it until God had to humble me, not shame me, but he had to just realign me into the position that was really for me. He reminded me, yes, I will lead you into things that multiply, but never confuse the tool for the hand. So I say it like this: everything I touch can turn to gold when God leads my hand. But if I forget the source, the same hands that build can destroy. Momentum is not proof of maturity, it's just proof that something is working. And if you don't stay consecrated and you don't stay within your covenant obligation, what you build will eventually cost you more than it gives you. And the thing is this, I've actually lived the exact thing that I'm talking about. There was a season where business was just moving so fast. It felt unreal because it wasn't really planned for it to go that fast, but it was really going fast. We were averaging $50,000 a month, had a few more than a few months over $100,000 a month. My wife and I were looking at each other like, oh snap, uh, our lives is really changing in real time. Like we were like legit like planning things and like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. The trajectory was real. Um the way that the trajectory was going, the trend that it was going, we were supposed to make somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million the following year. Um and in my head, the millionaire road wasn't coming. It was here. Uh, but the following year after that we thought we were supposed to do the 3 million is when the momentum didn't show up with me. We got into the next year, but that didn't show up there. It wasn't the same. And before I knew it, it felt like everything was just closing in. It was crashing down. We tried to hold on to employees, and then we had to eventually let people start going. We had to eventually let people go, and it just felt like, what the heck is going on? And on a surface level, we could say the economy hit, and that wouldn't be a lie. The economy did take a nosedive. It was definitely shaken, and it was definitely wasn't in the same exact place that it was the year before. And I wasn't the only one affected by it. It was a lot of people who got shook up, who got rocked through that process as well. But I also believe that two things can be right at the same time. If in two people can have the same problem and have for completely two different reasons. For an example, if a power line can fall on my neighbor's house and knock their power out, but then the power can be out my house because I didn't pay the bill. Same outcome, different cause. So I went to God. I'm like, God, I got big plans, man. Like what is going on? Because now I was ready to start rearranging all of the things that my family in my future, in my head, that I had, that I wanted to get done. We were making moves, upgrades, direction, remodeling the house, buying. I bought a couple cars, but I was well beneath in my budget. I wasn't at the top of my budget far, by far. Um, um, Life just felt like life just interrupted all my plans. I couldn't understand why. My first instinct was to look for a reason that made me feel innocent. Like, I went to go check my closet, you know, just to see if we got a little bit of extra Gucci or Louis Vuitton in there that I didn't know about. I went to go check my kids' closet just in case they took my credit card and went on a digital shopping spree. I went inside my garage to see if we bought some Mercedes Benzes or some G Wagons or something crazy, and I couldn't find anything to just point at the actual direction of what happened. Did we do something stupid? Why did the money just disappear? what was the real issue? The real issue wasn't about what happened around me. It was more about what was happening in me. Because if I'm really telling the truth, I had started operating like I was the source. I kid you not. The whole idea of everything I touch turns to gold were real words that would come out my mouth, because that's what success and that's what things happening in your favor will start to make you believe. One, because I am talented. I do have a gift. I do see business in a different way. I do have the gift and the ability to go into any business and see things about it and make changes. I've done it. I've done it time and time again. I've made multiple millionaires. I've done these things, right? And so it wasn't like I was just going off of something that I just didn't have the proof of. I was going off of what I really felt like was true for me. And I was I was still saying God, but I wasn't. I was still saying God. I was still saying God, but I wasn't walking with him. My prayers wasn't relationship anymore. It became real check in when I needed something, real just like, let me use it to go get insight. I used to say things like that too. I'm just using this to go get in. I use prayer and meditation as a way to get insight. And I would encourage people to go get insight. But it with without making the relationship a focus, because the relationship isn't just uh you go get something and not return for time for months, and that's what will happen. Like I'll pray, meditate, get momentum, get the insight, and then I'll leave, do it again, get all the prayer, meditation, get insight, and then leave, and come back after I'm done. After I done all the things that I got from my meditation, I'll come back in and get more, and so I will leave and just not come back. And I would start to think like, man, what if my wife and I was like that? That I come and see her when I see her and then leave. Would that still be my wife? If my kids, I'll come see my kids, spent a little time with them, made them feel good, maybe bought them something, and then just took off for months at a time. Would I still be daddy? Would I still have the same relationship? And that's the same thing that God was just trying to show me in that moment, was that you can't call me God, but then leave me for months at a time. You can't say that I'm here to lead you, but then you leave when you felt like you got what you needed. And that's what I did. And that's exactly what he was just trying to show me during that time, is because uh, it became this check-in when I needed something. I didn't notice how far I drifted until something stopped me. And and what I sensed was God telling me was something simple, but at the same time confrontational, because it hurt my feelings. Um, and the words that he said to me was that, you're doing this without me, and that wasn't the intention. And if you want me to be your God, you cannot do this without. And it's not like I didn't believe in him, but I just wasn't fully submitted. I wasn't listening. I wasn't asking. I wasn't adjusting when he was nudging me. Because again, same thing like Samson. It wasn't that it just fell off at one time. It was a slow drift of just you just doing your own thing, and then one day you don't see it no more. And now you're wondering, like, what in the world is going on? But God is just so just, and he's so forgiving that he gives another chance. And that's what I love um, about being in a relationship with God, and why it's so important that you give God a seat at the table of your decision making. Because when you stay submitted and you keep your heart in the right place, these things that God gives you, there's insight that he does give you for those moments. But when you leave, you give up that moment where God is just in a relationship with you. When those guardrails come down, you allow things to just happen to you. It isn't that life is just happening. It's just that God is he keeps nudging gently, and you're not seeing it, you're not feeling it enough. So then something just happens. It got even sharper. This is a safeguard. And this is the what he started saying to me during that time. It just got sharper, and basically it said, this is a safeguard for where you're truly going, because the direction you're about to move your family, you can't carry it with this ego. You ask for protection. This is what protection looks like. It didn't feel like that in the moment. I'll tell you that right now. It didn't feel like protection. It just felt like I got depressed. I'm not gonna lie. I got depressed because I felt like I've been working hard enough. I felt like I deserved what I deserved. I felt like everything was just in my horizon. Everything, I could touch it. I could feel it. There was, but this is the thing too. I didn't realize it to this year. That there was a lot of anxiety that came with those thought processes while I wasn't in direct relationship like I should have been. When I was really just going to the tune of my own beat, there was just crazy anxiety about even the money that I had in my pocket. Like, man, should I go pay for this stuff because I'm the one with all the money? Should I be the one doing all these things because I got it and they don't? And I felt guilty for certain things. I'm like, man, how much you making per year? Let me figure out how I can get you what you making over here. Like, I was in these really crazy thought processes because again, I lost focus of where the actual hand was, and I confused the tool for being the hand of God. And that's where I placed all my strength, and that's where I placed all my power in, was in that source of the actual tool, and not actually God. And it was here when that line broke me. This isn't the this is the other part too about that whole space, was that um God had also told me, he said, this is the other thing too. This isn't the business that I chose for you. It's what you chose for yourself. And it's been months since you've really spoken to me. That's, ooh. When I tell you I cried like a baby in my office, I just cried, because I was making all these plans. And God's like, no, this ain't what I chose for you, man. I got something else for you. But we can't do it like this. And I've been on a journey. Because for one, I was just so grateful because even though I was hurt, I also had to recognize it was his mercy because he kept me. I didn't lose anything. I didn't even going through that crazy space with that. I didn't lose anything, my cars or my home or anything like that. But I realized I wasn't. I was praying for increase while drifting from intimacy. I'm gonna say it again. I was praying for increase while drifting from intimacy. So I'm not telling this story like God just punished me and or anything like that. Because I know some people will be think that God is punishing you, but I want to submit it to you that God is not here to punish you. He's only here to help realign you so that He can give you exactly what you need, and actually what you want, but in a different way. So sometimes we gotta remove that thought process that God desires to harm you and do bad by you. Like that is far from the truth. Um, I got realigned because most people hit blocks like that never get the lesson. You know, I talk to people all the time about their stories and their success stories behind, and they never leave those spaces. They never create new success stories because they never really got the lesson from the end of that story. But all they got is the story of the success from that, and they just blame the economy and stay bitter for whatever has happened to them in those moments. But only thing that they're carrying is the success of past success. I don't think God desires for you to live in past success. That there's new success on the horizon for you. I don't think God stopped me to break me. I think He stopped me because He loves me. He loves my future more than He loves my momentum. And if I'm going to say if I'm going to say everything turns to gold, I have to be honest. It only turns to gold when God is leading my hands. And I just want to make this point about Samson and Delilah was that Samson's strengths wasn't his personality or his hustle or his genetics. Uh, the hair wasn't magic. It was just his sign of his consecration. His downfall wasn't a woman. It was the slow disrespect for the source. Delilah wasn't the cause. Delilah was just the receipt of his disrespect for the source. The Nazarite vow wasn't a vibe, it was a boundary. It was Samson keeps living like the boundary doesn't matter. I'm gifted, so rules don't apply to me. I'm strong and I have this strength and I can do all I can as long as I have this strength. I can do whatever I want. The arrogance, it starts when your gift convinces you that obedience is optional. You know, there's there's people, you'll see like an award show. Um and some people you can tell is real, some people you can't, but it's some people where you see that they 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 get up there and say, "Oh, I want to thank God." First, I want to thank God, but they privately credit God, but publicly perform like it was them. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the type of person that um, privately I say God did it, but then when I get on the main stage, there's no proof that God did it. And that one proof is just how I live my life, um, how I consecrate myself to the vision that God has given me. Um, I, I don't want to be out in the front and I start to pray less when I start winning. I started noticing patterns like that about myself. Not intentional. It's not because I mean anything by it. It's just what happens. It's the patterns. Is that I start gaining momentum, and then um the work starts getting more important, and I need to meet these deadlines. I need to do all these different things, and my prayer life and my meditation life just starts to slowly decrease. And I couldn't figure out what was these up and down patterns in my life. Like why am I so inconsistent with our finances? Like what is going on? And God one day showed me like, dude, look at you. You're very inconsistent with when you start winning and then you stop. Now, and the thing is, I don't. It's not personal. Like it's not like I'm doing it to smite God, or I'm like, But it was just these patterns that I would do, and I had to fix those patterns. And every time I fix those patterns, God relieves me, or whatever I may be going through at that time. And I just want you to just realize your patterns. And when you realize your patterns and you start to win, don't ever confuse the tool for the hand of God. That understand that God is in every moment of your success. God is in every moment of your space of when you're down. It's him nudging you. I believe God wants everyone to win. I don't think um, that we're here to suffer. I believe that you can have heaven on earth, but you can also have hell on earth as well. Two things can be true. Yes, you're talented. Yes, you're gifted. Yes, you have everything that you need to be successful. But I want to make sure that you do not uh, confuse the gift with permission to drift. Stay consecrated. Stay obedient. Stay thankful, because the source, it matters way more than the spotlight. I'm on the path to winning again, but this time I'm not confusing momentum with maturity. God has entrusted me with a new business that's promising and aligned me with what He's put in my heart, and that it's actually working, and people are being affected by it. And the difference now, it's just simple. God isn't invited. Uh, he isn't invited after the fact of success. He has a seat at the table of my decision making in every step of this business. And there's no reason to do this alone. I don't believe God put us here to do this alone, but he's offering us his presence that lives within us if you just ask for the insight, ask for the guidance, ask for direction, ask for the provision so that you can see your way into a different place. I still believe that what I touch can turn to gold, but only when his hand is on mine and my heart stays submitted to exactly where and what he has called me to do. Now, here's the real journey. I charge you just to figure out what it looks like for your heart to stay submitted to God, and then stay committed to that place. And I just want to say this too, is that God had given me two words. He gave me two words the other day just for what I believe is going to be a very impactful for for two different groups of people for 2026. One is the word activated and the word adjustment. And it's going to be a nice number of people who are going to be activated into their new life. But the key is learning how to adjust to the new things that come in your life. Don't get don't get the big head. Listen, I've been there. I've been there before. He also told me this, and this is just for me personally. He said, "Listen, man, where I'm taking you is a long way to fall from. Take me with you, so I can keep you there and sustain you." And so it's going to be some people this year that are going to be activated in their new life. Learn how to adjust, learn how to grow, and you're going to be just fine. Do not leave God behind. And there's a group of people that need to just learn how to adjust. For the second word, adjustment, for someone listening, you're just one small adjustment from seeing God move in your life like never before. And you know what the adjustment you need to make is. Maybe it's a more consistent prayer life. Maybe it's your environment. Maybe it could be something simple as just your bedtime. Maybe you need to go to sleep a little bit earlier so you can make time. And some people always say, "Well, I don't have time. I got to be working early in the morning." Go to bed a little bit earlier so that you can get up and have that private time with God. I started leaving the house and going to the gym and getting in the steam room and meditating because I started seeing myself get on my computer a little bit earlier and start working a little bit more. But when I go away from here and I'm at the gym, and I go in there in the steam room and meditate, I take all the time I need because I don't have anything to distract me. I don't have any pressures to do anything. I'm not thinking about anything else but that moment that I'm there. I don't know, but you do. Make the adjustment. Get to obedience as quick as possible. Because the truth of the matter is this: slow obedience is still disobedience. It's Ralph Walker, and this is Focusing on the Soul of the Entrepreneur.